Okay, in this module we're going to talk about how to place receptacles. So we want to start with systems. Click on the device, which also could be in this drop-down menu with the other devices. So again, we want to make sure we're on electrical fixtures. Click that, come over here. I probably don't want ground fault receptacles everywhere, so we want to pick our standard receptacle. And then we can just click and place them. So one thing to note is we want to place them on a vertical face, not on an actual face. We can place them on an actual face, so if you're in a floor plan like I am now, placing them on this will actually place them on the floor, and then you hit escape to get out of it. So we're placed on the floor, and then this box is actually the back box. So if we want to pick a different location, we can click on our receptacle, hit pick new, and pick a different location for our receptacles. So one thing, these are both instruction rooms, and let's say you have the same number of receptacles on the wall. Let's say we don't need this one. We want to space these a little better. And one thing that we can do, so we can always use the eye, but if we want to pick the wall face, individual reference, so we can pick the face of the wall, pick each center of each receptacle, and then this other wall face, select, and if we hit this EQ button here, now everything is equidistant. So equidistant from each end, and then equal distant from each other. So we can now delete these. However, just because the constraint is being deleted doesn't mean that the elements can be unconstrained. So if you just hit OK, it means that it will always keep them equidistant. So if I move one down or up, they would all move, they would all just shift back. It wouldn't let you move it because it's locked on each end. But if we hit unconstrain, I can now move these. Let's undo that. Come up here, undo the drag. But now let's select these three receptacles, and we're going to use the mirror function. So mirror, pick the axis, and now it will flip them to the other side. So it's noted that this device has lost host face, or lost association to the host. With that, if this wall were to move, those three receptacles might not move with the wall. So if that wall might change locations, that could be a problem, and those receptacles would no longer be a part of that wall. With Revit, everything is an association, so to the wall, to the floor, to the ceiling, with most electrical devices. So in that, if a wall moves, because we're hosted to it, our devices will also move. Typically, this is something that is just ignored, which is okay, but just to note that those devices might go with it. Another piece, so if we hold Shift and then hit our arrow key, we go further distance. If we just hit the arrow key, we're only going a short distance. So longer distance, short distance, if we hold Shift or not when we make those offsets. So something to note. Also, we can, so this is our dimension piece, so if we need to know what the dimension is between two elements, we can always use this dimension tool to note what they are. Another piece with that, if we click on this receptacle and say that we only need them 8 inches apart, so we can hit 0 space. So the first number would be feet, space, and then the second number is inches. Let's say 8 inches. Now we can have 8 inches between them. And that's from center to center. So if we need 16, so we can do either 0, 1, 6. Now we have 16 inches between them, or we're 1 foot 4. This comes in very handy when you're looking at spacing of devices or receptacles, especially if you want something equidistant on like a countertop or along a back wall. It comes in very handy to use this dimension tool. So that is how we look at placing receptacles within the model.